This week, I read a book by a Japanese wartime hero, Mamuro Shinozaki. In case you want to know how he looks like, well, he looked like this. He was working in Singapore before the Japanese occupation. The British, who was ruling Singapore at that time, suspected him to be a spy and put him into jail without trial. He was in prison for a few years before the Japanese arrived. When the war broke out and Japanese won, they occupied Singapore. Shinozaki was released and given a role in the welfare department in the government. The Japanese saw the Chinese and Eurasian people as threat to their rule and treat them as enemies, so much so that there were much brutality, cruelty, and mistreatment. Shinozaki feared for the people's lives, didn't approve of such treatment of people. When he was in government, he freely gave out good citizen passes to everyone who asked of him. These passes ensures whoever holding it is protected by and from the Japanese officers. It didn't matter to him who asked for these passes, whether they are good people or bad. He gave freely. He gave out thousands of such passes and saved the lives of many people. During the time, a lot of prominent Chinese and Eurasian leaders were caught, jailed, and put on trial for very hard sentences, a lot of them waiting to die. Shinozaki set up organizations to try to get these leaders to sit in their offices. The idea is that if these organizations were set up by the Japanese government, they become a safe place for its members. Many lives were saved because of that. Shinozaki risked his own life to do such a thing, as many Japanese officers were angry, for he seemed to be siding the Chinese and the Eurasian. At the end of the war, when the Japanese surrendered and the British returned, many top officers in the Japanese regime was put into prison and charged with war crimes. Shinozaki was one of them. However, it wasn't long until people came to testify for him and recognize all his good work during the war. He was set free and was given honor and even worked with the government. It didn't matter that the Japanese said that he was a traitor or a spineless man. He did the right thing. He honored lives of people and stood by grace and mercy more than his job and duty. He returned to Japan and recently came back to visit Singapore, a great hero. Shinozaki showed us what mercy and grace look like in times of adversity. Even at the cost of popularity and his own life, he helped those who are helpless and showed us an example of someone who gives mercy easily. Today, we learn from this man to choose to give mercy easily. And that's our PowerPoint for today.